Let us not dawdle, for there are grudges to settle, and new entries in the Dammer's Cron to right!
Howdy, howdy, Sudevil here, and welcome to a game featuring the Dwarfs versus Chaos, generaled by the mighty zachbsain. Alright, we have a really fun game. We do have an ancestor in this build, our ethereal heroes, Kinglon Ironhammer, and he has pretty much a full loadout. He has the Deadly Onslaught for the 36% charge bonus, 20% armor piercing damage, and plus 20% weapon damage for 31 seconds. He does have the Silverhorn of Vengeance for that plus 12 charge bonus in a 40-meter radius. He also has Foe Seeker for the Vigor and the 24% speed. He does have the Rune of Slowness to slow things around him at a 40-meter radius. You can see that radius if I come up, like that's the radius, by 18% speed. And he does cause things to be weak to fire by 22%. Along with Kinglon Ironhammer and his 75% resistance to physical damage, you do have the Warriors of Dragonfire pass, so he can make these guys much more effective because they do fire damage. And they actually kill things pretty quick for the Dowie as it is because of that bonus versus infantry. It's small, I think it's like 6. Yeah, bonus versus infantry is 6. But they do tend to actually get the job done when they're clearing out trash infantry and stuff like that. Now, this is a pretty elite build to really get things to come towards this build. Like when you build these kind of elite builds, you need to give your opponent a reason to come towards you. He does have 3 bolt throwers in here, and those are going to sort of face out wherever he's at, and he's going to really try and set them up so the opponent has to come to him. And inside this build, he has a very, very elite army. He has, I think, 3 hammers, 1, 2, 3 hammers in the Regiment of Renown. Yep, the P8 guard right there. He also has a Iron Drakes. So if something's sort of inside this pocket, those Iron Drakes, it's really, really tight. So the Iron Drakes, you can see there, the Iron Drakes can reach to about, where is their, I'm just going to draw it. They can reach to about here, if you can see that. So they can actually, within this pocket, if you leave them on guard mode, they can shoot at things. So they actually can bring things down pretty quick. He also does have the Dragonback Slayers, which slow things down and make them weak to fire, so they can synergize with the Warriors of Dragonfire pass. And for his leadership, he does have Belegar Ironhammer. Now, Belegar Ironhammer is actually not too bad at all with PK guard hammers, because hammers have decent melee defense, but not that great. It's 36. Belegar, you add his ability, Mighty Oathstone, that gives them plus 27 melee defense and expert charge defense. So they have charge defense against all when you imbue that on them. And Belegar has the Hammer of Angren, which is constantly active, plus 9 melee attack, plus 15% armor piercing damage, plus 15% weapon damage, plus 16% charge bonus just on himself, unless his leadership is below 50%. So that's I don't think I've missed anything in the build here. Sometimes I go around. No, I'm pretty sure I haven't missed anything. Now, for the Chaos build, there's actually a couple neat features to this build. Number one, what you'd expect is he does have Chaos Chariots, and he does have 3 of them. 1, 2, 3 on this side. This is sort of one of the neat things he brought. He brought these Demon Spew. So they actually have this -5 melee attack around them. They do poison damage, so if they do poison things, so that reduces the damage and speed of anything they're hitting. They have excellent weapon strength, but they just don't have that whole lot of armor piercing. Paired with them are the Weird Spawn. The Weird Spawn, again, don't have a lot of armor piercing, but they do sunder armor by 30 when they're fighting, and they are unbreakable. And he also has here these Chaos Knights with Lances. They have a massive charge bonus, but again, they don't have any armor piercing. So to go with that, he actually brought himself a Chaos Sorcerer of Metal, and he has the Plague of Rust. Where is that? Plague of Rust minus 30 armor. He can cast that for 44 seconds and only 4 winds of magic. Super cheap, and you can cast that quite a long way. So really go with this pocket, and to honestly, to go with these guys too. Like all 3 of these chariots, they're not armor piercing. I think nope, they're not. They have a pretty big bonus versus infantry. I think probably like 18. What is it? 18. Yep. And whatnot. And then he has for his infantry, he does have 3 Chaos Warriors with great weapons. I mean, they're sort of the pound for pound best great weapon infantry in the game. and he also brought Kolek Sun Eater. And with Kolek, he does have the Soul Crusher, 32% splash attack power, 40% armor piercing damage for 43 seconds. He has Standard Eye for the 23 melee defense and 16 leadership. He also has Lord of the Storm. He can use that 3 times as ground bombardment magic. He has Foe Seeker for the speed, and he does cause fear and terror. So we're going to get this going, and you know, so they're going to sort of see each other right away, and obviously the Chaos player is going to have to come forward. Sort of, this is kind of a weird map. It's actually, I like this map as the Dao. Like, there's so many ways to deploy in this map. So I actually wish I honestly wish I would see more maps like this for the Dao to play on, but there's just very few. Lots of maps with trees and hills, but not a lot of maps with terrain like this in the middle, which I really do like. Anyways, so zachbsain's okay, he's looking at what's going on. Okay, chariots are going over here. He's really just going to want to set himself up so he can get his range in, so he can shoot sort of this way and that's this way, because he's got units coming in both ways. You can see the range. Let's see if we can see the range. These guys are just in range now. And he's just trying to sort of get a little bit of high ground. Like, if you could set up perfectly, if I could set up perfectly, I would set up like right like that, because then you actually got that high ground, and that does make some difference. Or right on this slope if he could, but there's not really a way to get there. So Zach is trying to get up there, and then he's like, well, I can start getting shots, so he is going to wait. Meanwhile, these guys are completely free from any kind of artillery right now as these guys come in. So Zach is just setting up his lines. Where is he going to defend? How is he going to defend both angles? And he'll kind of get things out. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit till we get closer to where everything starts, just because everything's moving right now, and he's trying to get everything set. Yeah, here comes things. So really, he's trying to get his Chaos Knight with lances sort of up and around, maybe kind of into the back. He's trying to get these guys into a good position. Now these guys have turned the corner, and these guys have a bit of a ways to go. You can see Zach is actually targeting over here for the chariots, so we'll just let that play. Really, he just wants to start hitting the chariots, getting some chip damage on them. Chariots are really the most dangerous thing to this build. Hammers can hold their own against Chaos Warriors. They're going to struggle against chariots because they don't have charge defense against large. So that is a really big thing. So you can see over here we got one shooting over this way, and he's just going to come in. Not much Zach can do here. He's going to try and get some shots with the Iron Drakes, and they're going to do some damage to the Chaos Knights. Chaos Knights are also going to do quite a bit of damage to these Hammers. So it's sort of a trade, and you're going to see here Zach is going to bring over Belgar Iron Hammer, so he can give these guys charge defense against large. Meanwhile, on this side, he's gotten quite a bit of damage to the Chaos Knights, and after the charge, the Chaos Knights are going to take some damage. They got 120 armor, and Hammers are no joke. You know, if they can just sit there and fight. So he's trying to sort of pull them out, and Zach will reset. But over here, he's just getting ready for this charge, and we're going to see it as it comes in. These three guys would normally just do a massive amount of damage, kill a ton of models, because they have a really big charge bonus of 76, and Zach is going to give them that charge defense against ours. So there he goes, he buffs it. These guys now have 63 melee defense, and they have charge defense against all, and you're going to just see that charge coming. Now they are going to send some models flying, but again, when they run into Belgar has a lot more mass. He's going to slow them down. Plus, he's got these bolt throwers here. I don't know if the Chaos player saw this, but they can't just run through bolt throwers. So this is a really nice, this is actually a really clever way to do this, because bang, these guys did get through, but they're right into Dragonback Slayers. Not going to be the greatest because they have Mighty Oathstone going as well. But having those 3 bolt throwers in there has absolutely ground these guys to a complete stop, and have hardly done any damage to the Hammers. Like, very little. They still have 75 models, and now it's time for Belgar and the Hammers to go to work. He is getting sort of a bombardment right in the middle. This guy is fighting, but he's going to bring this over, and these guys have taken a lot of damage. So we're just going to let this play. Probably attacked a little bit early, but now really that's the thing that's going to be quite strong on that side, bringing in this the infantry. But he has been able to just absolutely waste this chariot. You can see he's getting a lot of shots in. These guys are coming to try and charge again. Again, he's getting some shots in to these Chaos Knights. Before any of these guys actually arrive. And he does have these Warriors of Dragonfire pass, and these guys are going to be made weak to fire, I think, as soon as they get in here. Are they weak to fire yet? No. Where is King Lun? Did he go over this side? Ah, okay, so King Lun is right here. He's gone over this side, and he caused fear and terror. So there's really no really good way to stop Kolak. I mean, he's going to kind of go where he wants to go. But you can see he put in a ton of damage to the chariots, and he's gotten rid of these Chaos Knights already. This is a massive, massive win for the Dowie, because now, you see what Zach's going to do. He's going to put his hammers here. He's going to take his Iron Drakes out, and then he's just going to tee off. He's going to shoot whatever he wants. So, like you can just see, he's going to just put a ton of damage onto Kolak. And the Kolak, he's got the charge bonus, but really got King Lun Iron Hammers in here, and it just pounding down Kolak's Sun Eater as fast as he can. Now, quickly the Chaos player realizes he's got to get to these Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes, but you know, he's already, the damages have been done. He's got Star Crusher, he's doing some damage, but everything is right here, getting shots in as quick as he can, and he gets routed. Another huge win for the Dowie. Now he can bring King Lun Iron Hammer back the other way. Now this fight's just sort of going on, it is what it is, but so far you see he's taking care of one chariot, he's taking care of these Chaos Knights, and he's taking care of Kolak's Sun Eater. Now, these guys, you can see he's got these guys terror routed, which you hardly ever see as the Dowie. He's got these chariots got terror routed, and he's got King Lun coming back in here. Now it's time to focus, and you can see he wants to get some more shots into Kolak. He does not want to let it come back. This chariot has routed. I don't know what's going on with it. He's trying to get some more shots into Kolak. Gets the damage in there. He's got the Slayers coming to try to slow him down. And you know, they don't have armor piercing with the Dragonback Slayers, but you can see they've got him down to 69 speed. And the Trollhammer torpedoes are going to keep doing damage onto Kolak. And Kolak is now trying to realize he wants to get away from the Trollhammers, but he can't. He's not quite far enough away. And these Trollhammers, when they're in guard mode, they're going to keep shooting. So you can see, well, he's actually switched into the Weird Spawn because they're right there. And they got the Slayers. Slayers will come in onto those Weird Spawn as well. You can see they're getting onto the Demon's Few. Kolak has come over to finish off this side of the battle, so he's actually terror routed these hammers here and the Bolt Thrower. So now you can take the Chaos Sorcerer Medal and bring him back, and he can fight straight up with Belgar. Now Belgar will do fine, good enough. I mean, he's got charge defense against large, but he does have Revenge Incarnate for the plus 44 melee attack, so he's 108 melee attack, and you can see now Kolak is trying to go, and he gets shot right in the side by a Trollhammer torpedo. I think I didn't quite see that. Yeah, it must have been a Trollhammer torpedo. I didn't know if any of the Bolt Throwers are still active, and now really it is just time to collapse in on this. And everything here is right next to something that's causing fear and terror. And you can see, there we go, terror out, shattered, shattered, shattered. And you see how fast it goes when you actually combine that. And only all that's left now is the Weird Spawn, and you can see the Trollhammer torpedoes are just going to shoot into those Weird Spawn. Like, it is surprising how much work that Fear and Terror did, because you actually got a few units to terror out, and they sort of, when they're terror routing, they don't know where to go. And you can see that really nice tight build. The Bolt Throwers were surprisingly effective at having inside his build for stopping chariots. I just absolutely love this game for a couple reasons. Number one, this is a tactic I've never really considered, is putting your artillery, and Bolt Thrower is good for it because it's only 550 gold. It's not like it's expensive. You put your artillery in your front line against chariots. Right? Like, he had it. You go back and watch it. Zach had this Bolt Thrower embedded with his hammers. And when the charge came off, I know he had charge defense against large, but those all but one of the 9 chariots stopped dead. Didn't go through the hammers, and they just got absolutely pounded from there with the hammers that were sitting there. So I thought that was really, really interesting, and a fantastic tactic and potential way to use Bolt Throwers. Like, normally as when you play the Dowie, you think, why don't I keep my artillery really on the inside of my formation? It might be a reasonable tactic to generally keep a Bolt Thrower, one on each side, right to the outside, to be ready to face charges, and then have them embedded with some infantry or something like that, just as an interesting tactic to be ready for chariots or single entity models or stuff like that. Really, really neat idea, and absolutely love to see King Lun running around, terrifying things. Like Belagar, he got 17, King Lun got 7. Wasn't really the key here. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass only got 6. Again, not integral to winning. 23, 44, and 34 with the Hammers, 20 with the Dragonback Slayers, 24 with the Peak 8 Guard, 30 with the Iron Drakes, Troll Armor Torpedoes. Again, just one unit, and they were the absolute heroes of the show. They really did a number on Kolek Sun Eater. They got rid of the Chaos Knights with lances. They got damage sort of in elsewhere, and they put some good damage into the weird spawn. Even one unit of Iron Drakes is really pretty good, and just keeping them right in the middle of that formation, so it's not obvious what they're doing. Like a nice tight packed formation. Now, of course, stuff like that is vulnerable, and you know zachbsain is an experienced player. Like had his opponent brought Sithoril and he brought the final transmutation, he would have spread his army out a little bit. I mean, but he didn't have to because that wasn't brought, and he was able to actually employ this really tight build where everything could support everything, and he could bring that fear and terror to the entire army. Like, it was really great. Like, you look at the army, okay, Kolek got 69. That's to be expected. He's going to get some kills. The Chaos Sorcerer got 8. Only 44, 33, and 32 with Chaos Warriors. Now, they're going to do a lot worse because they're facing Hammers. 47 with these Demon Spews. That was actually impressive. And 54 with a Weird Spawn. That's a really nice combination. I don't know about the cost and being cost effective, but along with the debuff here, I think that's a very cool combination for this Chaos build and fun to watch. And then 5, 7, and 1 for the Chaos Chariots. They were utterly shut down, along with the only 6 for the Chaos Knights. So really fun build, really interesting ideas, and sort of a nice, tight, elite packed dwarf build with the ethereal hero King Lun Ironhammer, who is 100 gold cheaper with this new build. So, you know, I'm just curious, I'm going to ask you guys a question. Have you guys been playing with the ethereal heroes at all? I know I'm going to commit to making sure I have at least one hero or unit from in at least one of my builds somewhere. So I'm going to actually start using these guys. So I got to find a home for them in my builds. But you know, have you used them at all? Like, the Fear and Terror was not nothing in this. Like, you saw, like, it got 2 Chaos Chariots, it got a Chaos Warrior. It actually did some work on it, because that's something that generally people don't plan for, is those ethereal heroes. Obviously, you give it away when you're playing Clan Angren, but you know, most of the time I play Clan Angren, I actually don't bring the heroes. I actually don't bring them at all in any of my builds right now. So anyways, love to hear from you. Hope you found this interesting, and I will see you soon.